name's Ralph and welcome back to our channel. It's my time, let's go. Today we got a bit of a different project on the go and I'm looking forward to working on it. This gentleman had this bike built and it's a custom build from Jerry Murch, and for those of you who don't know who Jerry Murch is, you should. He's a premier engine builder in Canada, and he designed and started to build these own bikes of his own here. It's my understanding that this bike was number 23 or 24, or probably 24 I think, of hand-built bikes that he built with his own custom frames and everything else incorporated into it. Regardless to say, this big inch birch motor is a monster, and you can tell just by looking at it, the size of it. I'm not sure what it is. I'll have to check and find out the exact CCs of it, but I'm not sure. But I know that you better be hanging on when you crank the throttle on that. Now we've run into a few problems. When I took the brake cylinder off, this is what popped out of the brake cylinder. So I was told that somebody had mistakenly put hydraulic fluid in it instead of brake fluid, which just didn't work properly. I don't know how that happened, but they did that. So we're going to have to put all new seals in that, and that's the hydraulic clutch. So the hydraulic clutch unit as well has got to have all new seals in it, which Jerry Murch was graciously enough to send me the parts that were needed for that. The wiring has to be done. It at one time had a Thundermax unit, I believe, but we no longer have one, and we just have all the wiring sort of hanging out. And again, after speaking with Jerry, he sent me down some stuff to help me out. So we're going to put an ultimate control box in. This is quite similar to what he called the Thundermax unit, and we're hoping that all the connections are the same here so that we can plug this in and with a minimal amount of work, hopefully, to try and get the electrical system working on this bike. So taking it off the handlebars is not the issue, and we'll take the lines out and flush them all out as well. But we're going to have to take the clutch cover off here, and of course we're going to have to pull the exhaust in order to be able to get at it. So we're going to start with that today. We'll put a pan under it and see how much we'll drain out of it, and we'll get that off, blow the piston out, clean everything out, put a new piston, rubbers and stuff all in there, and get that unit ready to go. So that's one of the minor things to start with. But as we go along, we'll keep you informed. The wiring is going to be a bit of a handful. I've been scrounging around trying to find some parts and some harness pieces and things like that are missing. And I've been fortunate enough to deal with a guy I know that has a lot of salvage, and he's going to be able to hook me up with some of the harness for the top of the fairing, hopefully, and some of the other pieces that are needed. Unfortunately for this gentleman, as the bike changed hands so many times, many things were lost. For example, the fairing, there's no headlight bucket anymore. There's no dash for the gas tank. And I could go on with quite a list of things. No seat, no battery, no all these sort of things. But we're going to try to get this bike together for this gentleman. And I'm sort of anxious myself to get it out for a drive and try one of these big Murch motors, because I've never driven one, so I'm sure I'll be nothing but totally impressed with it. Alright, so stick with us as we go through this project. The bike has a lot of little custom things of itself. The oil filter bracket here and such, as you can see, Murch has his label on it. It has a beautiful oil filter assembly on it. We have the Murch logo on the cover here of the transmission. Point cover as well. Also the top of the carburetor. The front fork tubes have these custom covers on, which are quite long. Usually you can only get up to about 6 inch, which is about there. So you can see how much longer these are for the extended front end. And the front end's raked out, of course, so we need the extended length on it. And there's a lot of small custom touches as these side covers and stuff like that. It's a very clean bike, and it should be something that should be extraordinary to drive. It has a beautiful set of forward controls on it. Which I'm not sure if they're Jerry's own design, but I can't say that I've ever seen anything like that before, so I would expect that they are, and they look ever so durable and well built. It's obvious to tell that this is a Murch Performance motor by the way that it's logoed up, and there's a lot of small touches all over it that are like that, which is very impressive, and I like the looks of it myself. Even here, behind the spark plugs, there's a little lightning bolt with the MP on it. Very, very nice, very nice. Motor's also equipped with compression releases, which no doubt it needs, and I'm quite sure of that. The coil is also hidden up underneath the gas tank, which is nice. Keeps it out of sight and all the wiring nice and clean, and when you put the tank on, you don't even see it. Shift rod also is a nice custom touch. So there's not too much on this bike that hasn't had Jerry's personal touch on it, and it's plain to see. I'm going to start by getting the exhaust off. So we'll loosen these off. Make sure to put all your little pieces back where they should go. Everything related to the exhaust or anything should be in a little container. Alright, we'll go and get the pistons blowing out of this so we can put our new seals in it. We've got our brake clean here, and what we're going to do is spray this hose right full and then blow it and spray it. We have to get all the hydraulic fluid out of it, including the brake line. There we go. That should do that and have that nice and cleaned out. Now we've got to get this piston out of here. This is our hydraulic piston for our clutch, because it works on hydraulic fluid rather than a cable. And we know that this is swelled up in there, much like this cover was. This was off the master cylinder. That's how big it should be, like that size. So that's what hydraulic fluid does to the rubbers inside of your system when you put the wrong kind of fluid in. So we're just going to put this down here, and hopefully we'll be able to blow that piston out. There we go. She's just soupy in there, just soupy. So we need to take all our parts and clean them all out thoroughly. And we'll pay attention, specific attention, to the way this seal is in here properly. So we know this unit is going in to our case like this, and this big seal is on the inside, but it is directional, I think. We'll see as soon as we pull it out. So it was in this way. This is going in, so this groove part is facing inboard towards the cover, and the flat part is sitting on the outside here, and that's to keep the pressure in. So this will expand and keep the pressure in when it tries to force the piston out. So we're going to go through here and thoroughly wash out all these parts and spray them out more than once with the brake cleaner, because we don't want any residue whatsoever of the hydraulic fluid in the spring anywhere. So we also want to make sure and take this little bleeder screw out. Even though it's a small area in there, there's a little hole up in there leading into the bleeder screw. And that could very easily be contaminated as well. So it needs to be blown out. And one more time. All right, looking good, nice and clean now. Okay, take all these rags that had any hydraulic fluid on them and put them aside. Now we'll start putting some of our little pieces back in. We've also found that there were some O-rings missing off of this, and this had to fit into a shouldered piece inside there. And the hydraulic fluid in it, it swelled the O-rings up so much that they wouldn't go down inside the groove inside. So we're hoping that the small one here will go inside and the top one will help seal it as it goes. Keeping our fingers crossed on that one. So we are gonna go with dot 5 on this whole assembly. So now we're gonna put it together. Use dot 5 on everything. Put our new seals in. And like I said, this has to face inward, the lip. Load this up with dot 5. Spring. Go in like that. Go. That should do it. So we should be able to take that back over and install it on our motorcycle. So we'll get our screws ready. I'm just going to put a little bit of good sealer around that. Now I'm thinking they look the same, but the other ones didn't want to bottom out there. Check the length of these. Ah, a little bit shorter. That's what we need. So if you find a thread is not going in, stop. Stop what you're doing. Go back and double check. That little bit difference in the length can make a huge difference if you're going to put something in there. And it didn't look like there was a lot, but it appears so. Just didn't want to go in there. Okay, now see if we can get this little puppy back in. So this one has to be the same. We have to flush it all out. We'll start by getting the clip off. Wow, it's stuck. She is seized up tight in there. Tight, tight. What we're gonna do. There we go. Yeah. They are swelled up in there. Huge. I did manage to put the air to it. I didn't have the camera on it, but it did come out finally. So everything is saturated. All of these pieces. We won't be using that. Cap piece in. There we go. No, she's not locked in there yet. There we go, and we're locked down into place in there. As you can see, is down in there to depth now, sunk down in the hole, and that keeps it so it'll move in there. So we've just used a 9/16 socket just to tap it down into place, so it's down below the shoulder, and that should do it. And we have to put our little boot on down in there. This small little rubber top hat. Down in there, the dust shield, so to speak. And you just take your time and work it down over the plunger. And there we've got our little dust cap down on it in there. All right. Nice controls, very nice. Something different you don't see a whole lot. The hydraulic clutch is the little roller on here. Sweet, sweet setup. So we'll get our handle back in place. All right. We need our little C-clip. All right. Last thing to go is the top gasket. Start that up into this first. There we are. That's it. Ready to go back on the bike. Okay, tie wraps. That should about do it today. Getting the hydraulic clutch all back in place, all flushed out completely. Now we can fill it with .5 and everything will be good to go. So we're going to move on to other aspects of this bike that needs to be handled, and we'll see how it goes. So stick with us. She's an ongoing story. All right.